What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 133, and we start today's episode off putting a new bid for Phil Jones of £11 million plus Mauricio. But as I discussed in the last episode, I don't think I'm going to bother with that deal anyway, because we don't need him, and as you can tell by the title, we've got £50 million to spend, and there's nobody I want to buy. And I know it sounds ridiculous, I know that when you get that much money, the first thought is, oh my god, what players can I sign? But I don't have that this season, I really don't. Usually I'm so desperate to make sure I spend all of my budget, make sure I buy as many players as possible, try and improve the squad as much as possible. But really, this season, there's no one that really catches my eye. And I also don't want to waste money on players who are going to be, I don't know, would you consider them to be bench players? Because Phil Jones won't be in the first team. I'd rather have Sane and Zambrano there. We could possibly play him at right back because he can't play there. But I'd rather Walker or possibly even Theo Walcott, and I'm going to discuss that in a minute. So, I don't know. I mean, it's really weird this season because we have all this money. We finally have so much money at West Bromwich Albion to buy loads of players. Something I've been complaining about since season 1. But I don't want to buy anyone. There's no one I want to buy. I could buy young, high potential players, but they'd get wasted here because they wouldn't get much game time in an already fantastic first 11, which I don't want to alter too much. As, when you consider last season, what we did, winning the Champions League, undefeated season, smashing records, winning the FA Cup. We won every single trophy other than the Capital One Cup. Why would you make significant changes to the first 11? Why would you take out players that are already established in there to give young, high potential players a chance when that's just not going to work? Of course it could be okay, but you'd rather stick with a system that's worked. Why change something that's already working for you? Why fix something that isn't broken is obviously a great way of putting it. So yeah, I don't really know what to do this window. We probably are going to buy one or possibly two more players. We are still going to think about signing some of those young, high potential players, but I don't know. I don't really want to do that because they get wasted here. And when you look at the players that are here, Rodrigo Lazari is the main one. He's got the potential to be special. 19 years old, 78 overall, looks absolutely incredible. When you look at this guy, it's like, yeah, I don't mind spending 20 to 30 million pounds on him, even though it will seem like a massive overspend, as he's only currently valued at 6 million pounds. It will seem like a huge overspend, but I don't mind spending the money on the guy, but he'll just get wasted. He won't get played, and I'll loan him out, and it'll be a complete waste of time because we probably won't be here for more than a few months. So I don't really know what to do. It's a really, really weird transfer window for us. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But even so, I'm still confident we'll probably sign one or two more players. But don't hold on to your hat to think we're going to sign the best players in the world, or loads and loads and loads of high potential players, because I just don't really see the point in wasting our money and wasting time on players who won't get much game time here. But still, we probably will sign one or two more players. I'm just not sure what we'll be looking to sign and why. But still, we take on Bayern Munich for the second of 3 pre-season friendlies here, and we got battered in this one by 5-0. And I guess when you look at our team we put out there, you can't really expect anything else. But even so, still a bit of an interesting result there. 5-0 losing to Bayern Munich. Again, I know my team was really weak, but even so. Still, we put in a new bid for Wayne Rooney after that as well. I was really hoping of getting Wayne Rooney on the cheap here because obviously his contract is up at the end of the year. He is 32 years old, so I thought maybe United will let him go for around 15-20 million, but it seems like they want £27 million and not a penny less, which is a lot to spend on Wayne Rooney. I'd say he's worth that, even at 32. He had a great World Cup for us. He's a really good player, and he's exactly the type of player we'd want as well, being a sort of a centre-forward role for us. He was amazing in that role in the World Cup. Still, we'll have to wait and see what happens. We also put in a new bid for Tom Turgot, the young Leyton Orient striker, £7.5 million plus Danny Ings, but they just don't want to let go of the guy. That is a very decent deal. Even if he is a very good young striker, that's not a bad deal at all for a lower league club, but they're still saying no, which is absurd. But still, had to put in a new bid for Rodrigo Lazari because Roma had just accepted a bid of £22.5 million from Arsenal. So we have to go ahead and put in a new bid for the guy, and whenever that happens, whenever a club gets to the player first, usually it's good night to your chances. You're probably not going to be able to sign the guy unless that guy turns down a contract at the club, which doesn't usually happen. So looks like he's going to choose Arsenal ahead of us, which is frustrating, but as I've mentioned before, I'm still not that bothered because at the end of the day, Lazari, I know he's a good player and everything, and obviously I know he's going to have the potential to be special. He'll probably turn out to be one of the best strikers in the world. At Arsenal, he'll probably be a first team player. Here, third choice striker or fourth choice striker behind Niang, Andy Carroll, and now Paco Alcacer. So, do we really want to waste our time with a guy which we'll rarely ever play him? I mean, that's the problem we're here at West Bromwich Albion, and it's a good problem to have as well, but it's still frustrating knowing that even if you sign those players who are clearly going to be world class in the future, because you can't develop them, they might get a little bit wasted, and they probably just, £22.5 million for a 19-year-old is a lot when he's only valued at £6 million. And yes, I know it's going to be an investment for one of the future best strikers in the world, but at the end of the day, because he won't get used much here, he may not grow as well as he would do at another club. So at the end of the day, I'm actually kind of hoping he'll go to Arsenal, because I know he'll go right into the first team there. He'll play a lot of games, and he'll probably start to develop more. And in the future, we can buy him, we can actually buy him when he's a better player, and he's already going to be good enough to go into our first 11. So as you'll see, he does join Arsenal, which to me is probably a good thing, because instead of wasting the guy here, he's going to get a lot of first team football there, and in the future we might buy him when he's a better overall, so he can go into the first team, and he'll still have the potential to grow. So I know it seems ridiculous, but you've got to manage this from the point that we're not going to be here at West Bromwich Albion for much longer, or at least it doesn't seem that way. So you have to sit there and think what's best for the future of this series in terms of young players getting played and getting good enough for the future to be world class players. Is it worth it? Bringing them here, rarely using them, and then leaving them here in the squad, which the AI manager is never going to play a 78 overall striker ahead of the options ahead of him right now in terms of overall, because as I said, the AI usually manages in the sense that they play the highest overall player first, because that's obvious. So yeah, you got to think about the series, the future of the series really. So I'm actually not that bothered that he's gone to Arsenal, but I am still confident one or two more signings will be made. But as I'm looking at the players we're looking in for right now, I just don't know who to buy. I mean, there's no one who really interests me, and I'm not sure, but I'm thinking about possibly just leaving West Bromwich Albion with tons and tons of money, so the AI manager can basically just build the squad himself, because who am I going to buy that's going to improve this squad right now? There's rarely anyone. Wayne Rooney would be a great signing for us, but do I want to spend £27 million on a 32-year-old? I don't know. It's really, really weird right now. I have no idea what to do, and I don't want to sign players for the hell of it. I never really like to do that. I never like to sign a player and say, oh, well, he's in the club. We might not use him very often, but, he's here now. It's like, no, I always want to make sure that every player has a purpose. And right now, there's no one who's really going to be giving us any purpose at all, because they'll be bench players at best, unless we do spend a lot of money on players who, again, they may go into the first team, but do I want to change the first team, So I guess in this episode, what I really want to do mainly was show you guys, as you can see the squad report here, as we're about to go into the first game of the season, which is the Community Shield against Chelsea, as Kyle Walker is decreasing in stats. What the hell? I basically just want to explain to you guys that, yes, I know we got a lot of money, but who do I take out of the first team in order to get a new signing in? Because this team is just absolutely incredible and it plays so well with me. And even if I don't sign players to the first team, even if I sign young potential players, when are they going to get chances to play? So it's really hard to manage this situation here at West Bromwich Albion, because everything is perfect. We've got young potential players ourselves anyway. You see one there in Billy Rowell, Leandro Madeira, Kevin Savanier is in the first team, which is great, but he's obviously 79 overall right now, so he's good enough for the first team. Powell, North, Ryan Sarr, Ashley Bentley. Who do we need? We don't need young potential players. We don't need first team players. It's such a difficult one here at West Brom, but still, I've changed the formation going into the new season. We're playing a 4-5-1. As you can see, Theo Walcott is going to start right back for us. Paco Alcacer in the centre forward role as Niang's the lone striker. Walcott is going to start right back. Now, I know you're probably sitting there thinking, why on earth are you doing that? The reason being is because this isn't a new thing for me. If you're new to the channel, I do often put wingers at fullbacks, usually not in the games at the start, usually during the game we'll make the change, but I like to play wingers at fullback because defensive stats on fullbacks aren't actually as important as they appear, to be honest, and Walker has a lot of pace. He had a great World Cup tournament, and I just want to fit him into the first 11, so I'm going to play him at right back and see how he does. It might turn out to be a disaster, he might be useless for us, but I think personally that could be a good position change there, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. Still, we do take on Chelsea for the first game of the new season. It is in the Community Shield. Last year we faced Chelsea and beat them on penalties, so as we take them on here at Wembley, I was hoping to make it 2 Community Shield victories over Chelsea in a row. The first chance fell there, but Carrillo's shot was well saved by Petr Cech, but from the corner, Ricardo Rodriguez crosses the ball in, and Sane wins the header and heads it past the Czech Republic goalkeeper to make it West Brom 1, Chelsea 0. So Sane getting the goal in the 24th minute. We're already in front, and this team is just so strong, it's ridiculous. Like, there's just no weak link at all. We're an aerial monster in Sane from corners as well. Is always handy too. He gets our first goal of the season. Salih Sane with the goal, making it 1-0. So West Brom 1, Chelsea 0, and in the 35th minute we're through again here. Some very nice passing. Sees Henderson playing a brilliant ball over the top towards Niang. Gary Cahill loses out. Niang goes forward and shoots, but Cech denies him with a very good stop and keeps it at 1-0. So good save by Petr Cech there, and Chelsea are still in the game. In the 40th minute, Ramirez finds Thorgan Hazard here. The Belgian finds Piazon. Piazon finds Willian. The Brazilians link up. Willian's shot is parried by Hart, and Lucas Piazon with a free header 6 yards out blazes it into the stands. What a great chance there, but it is still 1-0. But Chelsea were beginning to grow in confidence as Ramirez shoots here. It goes just wide of the post. So they were looking a bit more threatening, looking a bit more strong, but they just weren't doing enough when they did get themselves into good chances. Wilshere then struck this ball over the bar in the 74th minute, and it was still 1-0 to West Bromwich Albion. And really, in the second half, I expected Chelsea to go all guns blazing, trying to get themselves back on level terms, but they just didn't really do anything. And in the 77th minute, we could have won it here. Kevin Tavernier drilling in a cross, it goes up in the air. Cech heads the ball clear for some reason. Henderson finds Ravel Morrison, who shoots, and it goes just wide of Czech's right hand post. So still West Brom 1, Chelsea 0. And as I mentioned, in the second half, you know, when Chelsea are chasing the game, you expect them to be doing just that, doing everything they can to get themselves back on level terms. They did nothing. They didn't even have a single shot in the second half. They were so poor. It was so routine. And that's why in the 89th minute, as Jordan Henderson gets on the ball for us here, he slides it through to Ravel Morrison off the bench, stops the ball, beats Ivanovic, crosses the ball in, and Andy Carroll, also off the bench, heads the ball over Petr Cech, loops it into the bottom corner, and makes it West Brom 2, Chelsea 0. So Carroll comes off the bench, makes it 2-0. The guy, absolutely brilliant striker for us. You know, we don't need those young, high potential strikers like Lazari, because we've got Carroll to rely on. He still does the job at 29 years old, 81 overall. He always does exactly what we ask of him. So Carroll with the header, putting it past Petr Cech, making it West Brom 2, Chelsea 0. That's the Community Shield. That's the game done. It was done at half time, really. Chelsea didn't do anything in the second half, but we win the game by 2-0. Our first piece of silverware is picked up, and again, just further proof that we don't need anyone at this club, even with £50 million in the bank, because this squad is too good. There's no need for any changes. We are set for another great season as things stand. But as always, guys, a big thank you for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode, please leave a like, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.